Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala barakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya wal mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Alhamdulillah, we're continuing with our training video based on our book, Post-Islamic Psychology, a Transcendent Model to Achieve Peace, Happiness and Success in the 21st Century. Inshallah, we hope to train 10,000 of our life coaches all over the world over many years. And this is a free program by Khalifa Education Foundation and Post-Islamic Psychology Center. So we have discussed on the challenges that we face, alright, the 8 challenges that we face in the 21st century in terms of the challenges of atheism, anxiety, depression, suicide, pornography, teenage pregnancy, drug, alcohol addiction, video game addiction, and other challenges in terms of striving for peace, to eliminating of war, oppression, injustice, and so on. Alright, so these are issues that we have to be well equipped to become a life coach to help those who are actually facing this problem, especially the youth. And we have discussed in the previous video of youth and suicide in terms of who they are and what they do. Alright, so the statistic is actually very alarming because statistics don't tell the statistics that that is gathered by WHO is showing an alarming trend towards suicidal ideation and attempting suicide at a very severe rate all over the world. So suicide occurs throughout the lifespan, and especially among those in the 15 to 29 years category. Alright, and you can see that based on the suicide from 10 to 29 years, if you break it according to the age group between 10 to 29 years old, there is this highest number of people who are committing suicide every year. And you can see that suicide per 1,000 rate is actually increasing, especially now you see Europe is actually very advanced countries, OECD countries, yet they have this challenge insofar as the suicide rate is growing at exponential rate. Alright, and you see that if you look by the age and income level, you can see that basically income level does not actually reflect. It could be that even people who have low income, yes, they may commit suicide, but people with higher income actually has the propensity to actually go for suicide. And these are the warning signs that we have to know, especially if we are a life coach. First, threat of suicide. So you have friends or your mentee, people who you are mentoring, are talking about, wanting to kill themselves. They threat to because they are not happy with their family, not happy with their schoolwork, not happy with the exam result, whatever it is. These can be through direct or indirect comment, and now actually a lot of them are actually using online, alright, through WhatsApp, through all the media, Facebook and so on. So they are actually portraying their frustration, anguish through this media, and you can see the trend. Alright, so that is very important. From these text messages we can help intervention so that before they really do this suicide attempt, we can then draw them out to be able to have a better understanding of the nature of life, especially from an Islamic perspective of the test that Allah has given us and how we can then go through life overcoming our anguish and suffering in a way that is more holistic, balanced and caring and loving. Number 2, you have this preoccupation with death. So people who have this suicidal tendency, they have this idea of death, and this could be also an indirect result of playing with a lot of video games that idealize death. Alright, shooting, killing. So these people tend to pick up a lot of these ideas and become part of their subconscious mind, a program that actually will then, when they are in trouble, will actually activate their brain system, especially the basal ganglia system, to actually start thinking of doing this kind of things. Symptom of depression, I have mentioned to you that this is the major cause of suicide. They have a lot of people who commit suicide. Normally they are in depressive state because of the overwhelming challenges. Sometimes the challenges from the perspective of others is not, but for that particular person, for example, for others failing an exam is not a no deal, not a major problem. For that particular person, maybe because of the pressure of the family, wanting perfection and so on. Just getting a C means it's no good, and they kill themselves. Alright, so there are many situations like that. Number 4, planning. Alright, so if they are beginning to do something that you can see the trend towards finding out how to commit suicide, planning how to do suicide, then we must intervene and help them out. Number 5, alcohol, drug addiction. This is a major problem of suicide when they have no way to turn to after a while, because actually when those who are taking alcohol, especially drugs, the synthetic drugs, their brain are being damaged in a way, and they lose self-control. And when they reach a level of anguish and frustration, especially when they cannot get the drug, they just either rob or they kill themselves. And number 6, certain feelings, especially if they are a loner, loneliness, shame, guilt, humiliation, rejection, and so on. So all these are parameters that we should look out, especially if we want to be a life coach. Look at our mentee, people who are, or our counselee, and then we try to see how we can avert this disaster so that we can at least save a life. Alright, so what are the risk factors? One is a psychiatric disorder, that means major depressive disorder, bipolar disorder, alcohol and drug addiction, as I mentioned earlier on. These are the major causes of suicide. Previous suicide attempts, so if they have attempted suicide previously once or twice, then it becomes a norm, and sometimes it becomes a defensive measure to threaten their family or their parent. If you don't give me that, I'll commit suicide. So a lot of young people are actually doing that, and when the parent don't give in, they threaten again, and when they threaten the third time, the parent don't give in, they really did it. All right, and the parent were just surprised. Why would they kill themselves? Why would they shoot themselves in the head? Just because maybe they cannot get what they want in terms of maybe some physical thing. They kill themselves for themselves, even for a simple thing. So this is where we have to look into it. Previous attempt. Number 3, loss of parent. Some people, after their loss of parent, they go into very depressive state, and the grieving process is long, and then they also feel that they want to follow to die, and that's basically where they commit suicide. Number 4, being bullied at school or elsewhere. So bullying is a major problem now all over in the developed world, where now not only there is bullying, physical bullying, there is psychological bullying, and then also online bullying. All right, and also encouragement for them to commit suicide. All right, the bully not only just bully them, but tell them, you better go to hell, and then you better commit suicide, and so on. And these people sometimes, out of their anguish, kill themselves. Number 5, depression or bipolar disorder. These are major causes of, again, suicide. Number 6, physical and sexual abuse. People who are raped, they also tend to commit suicide. And then non-suicidal self-injury. This is self-injury where they cut themselves, not to the extent of suicide, but to show that they are harming themselves. And this is quite common among young people, right? Especially when they have family conflict with friends and so on. They tend to cut themselves, and this is where we can intervene to overcome the challenges. So inshallah, if you see those 7 signs of risk, we have this video to show you, inshallah. Then you will have some idea of how to help young people who are facing this problem, inshallah, whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims, as long as they are human beings. If we can help, mentor and coach them or counsel them, we have done something good, inshallah, which you receive the mercy and the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.